Hello, everybody. We're Drake's analytics team, and we've been tasked with finding out how we can improve Drake's global reputation and global music sales. Let's start off by seeing how the world currently is listening to music. If you see the world overall, it's not very hard to imagine that United States is a place where Spotify seems to be the most popular service. Americans are streaming Spotify almost 3 times as much as people in the UK do, and it outstrips many other countries by several times. If you look at the total artists sorted by number of streams, you can see Ed Sheeran today is the most popular artist on Spotify, followed by Drake and Luis Fonsi. And Luis Fonsi also claims the crown for the most popular track today, which is Despacito. And if you see how the population is spread all over the world, we know that Europe's population is approximately equal to how much the United States does, and it's several countries in one. So it actually does present Drake an excellent opportunity to expand to other markets. So if we see how Europe is listening to music, we see that the United Kingdom is the country which streams the most music. But what really concerns us as analysts for Drake is the fact that Drake's popularity has dropped from the second to the fourth, and he streams only about a third as how much Ed Sheeran is able to stream. And if you see in the top 15 tracks, this is Passion Fruit, which is authored by Drake. Assuming that Spotify is a good stand-in for the overall popularity of a track globally, this leads us to a good inference that maybe there is something going on with Drake's tracks within Europe that warrants further analysis. And the further of our analysis now looks at how tracks can be classified based on clusters, and if there is something going on between those clusters in Europe that Drake needs to be listening to. Okay, so we'll start off this analysis by first analyzing what makes a track and how many buckets we can put our tracks into. So we decided to look at tracks and different attributes across the track and found that they more or less fall into 5 different buckets. For example, if we consider this genre of songs we like to call dance hype, it's because they have high danceability, have a lot of energy associated with them, they're loud, and they have a high balance, which brings about general positivity in the track and gets people to sort of dance to it. One of the most popular tracks from this genre is Despacito. Each of the other buckets are sort of bring together tracks with similar attributes as well. If you look at the currently popular tracks and which genres they fall into, we see that a lot of them are actually dance hype tracks. And if we look to where Drake currently is, a lot of his tracks are either dance hype or darker rap. Let's now take our focus to what Europe seems to prefer, and if we see the average position of the track on the Spotify Top 200 list, we see that dance hype tracks are more popular than acoustic vibe tracks or darker rap tracks. As we can see, a smaller position, the smaller is going to be better, and our recommendation may sort of take advantage of the kind of clusters that tracks fall into. The next part of our analysis, we'll go on to assess what Drake's current offerings are and how they line up with what Europe needs. So if we see the most popular tracks in Europe, we've tried to do an analysis of how these tracks perform over time on the rankings. On average, most tracks tend to enter the list, stay on it for a few months, and then gradually decline. For example, Shape of You started off in January at the first rank and has gradually been falling off. But if we see Passion Fruit, which is Drake's most popular track, it started off pretty okay at rank 13, but then plummeted to rank 35 in just about 2 months. If we look at this table here, which charts out how Drake has been able to generate streams in both the Americas and Europe, we will see that Passion Fruit drives almost 90% of his streams in Europe. If you look at that in conjunction with the fact that his most popular track is falling off the list in just about 2 months, it's certainly a cause for concern for him. Let's also consider the fact that Drake has more diversity in his tracks when it comes to his offerings in the Americas. As we can see, a more even distribution of streams being generated across different genres. So it does seem like he needs to be able to find a way to generate more streams from the dance hype genre, at least within Europe. If you look at who are the artists who are currently performing in this cluster, you can see Luis Fonsi, Ed Sheeran, DJ Khaled, Bruno Mars. These are fairly popular artists if you see the size of the bubble compared to Drake, who's currently operating within the acoustic vibe category. So our primary recommendations to Drake are going to be to shift focus towards the dance hype category, potentially either author tracks on his own or collaborate with other artists that do specialize in the genre, such as Luis Fonsi or Ed Sheeran. Additional analysis from other data sources can provide more insight and can give more deep recommendations and may be conducted in the future. Thank you for your time.